to Introduction to Yoga. I'm Tracey. I'm here to teach your class today, and I'm here with Django. He is here to remind you to live in the moment and remind all of us to live in the moment and enjoy yourself. If you're new to yoga, remember the most important thing is to focus on your breathing. And if I'm demonstrating anything that doesn't feel good in your body, don't do it. Just honor where you're at today. So without further ado, let's start our practice. And it seems like my furry friend is lying on the couch, so maybe there will be fewer shenanigans this week. But there's no guarantee, of course. So starting to close the eyes, making yourself nice and comfortable. We're going to start with 3 breaths. So inhaling the arms up, taking a deep inhale in, and exhale, sigh it all out through the mouth. Letting everything go. And inhaling the arms up, reaching for the sky, feeling that breath, and exhale, sigh it all out. Feeling everything melt away, and then inhaling the arms up, and sighing it all out. And we're going to revisit the 3-part breath, because sometimes when we're stressed and busy, we take short, shallow breaths, and it's important to remember to focus on taking full deep breaths when you want to help calm yourself down, which I feel like we just need to do a lot of these days. So as you inhale, make sure you're filling up the belly like you're filling up a balloon, filling up the rib cage, feeling the rib cage expand, and feeling the breath fill the chest. And then exhaling, sighing it all out from the chest, feeling the breath leave the rib cage, and feeling the breath leave the belly. Making sure that we release all of that breath. And then inhaling, and you can place your hand on your stomach and your rib cage or your chest if you want to feel the breath, filling the rib cage, filling the chest, and exhaling. Pushing all that breath out from the belly, releasing all of which no longer serves you. And then inhaling, filling the belly, filling the rib cage, filling the chest, and sighing it all out. Letting the breath leave the chest, the rib cage, and the belly. So follow your natural rhythm as you go through that, focusing on each breath. And we're going to try and focus on that breathing as we go through our practice. And that might mean slowing yourself down, maybe not working quite as hard so that you can take those full deep breaths. And that's okay. Honor where you're at today in your practice. Being mindful about the breath. And I invite you to set an intention for your practice. If you don't have something in mind already, I invite you to set the intention of trying to cultivate more inner peace, which we do every time we come to our yoga mat. But creating that inner peace Helps create inner peace in our outer world as well. Sharing that peaceful energy with those around us. Helping them to find their inner peace as well, as we all try to navigate through the world. And when it feels like you're losing that inner peace, remember you can always come back to your breath. Either focusing on the 3-part breath or just focusing on your own breathing. Taking those full deep breaths. Calming the mind, body, and spirit. And when you're ready, slowly opening the eyes. We're going to start with a few little stretches here. So opening the arms out wide, feeling a nice stretch across the front of the chest and the arms, maybe into the fingers. From here, we're going to cross the arms and give ourselves a nice hug. So you can give yourself a little squeeze here if you want to, and then opening the arms up, feeling that stretch. And then once again, crossing the arms, trying to go the other way this time. Giving yourself a nice little hug. And opening the arms, nice and wide. Being receptive to everything that life has to offer. And then once again, crossing the arms, giving yourself a little hug. And you can flow back and forth through this movement at your pace. You don't have to follow me. Follow your breath. It's okay to give yourself a hug once in a while if you need it. For a while we weren't able to hug everyone, so that's okay. If you had to give yourself a little hug to just show yourself a little love, it's all good. And when you're ready, just returning back to center. We're going to inhale the arms up, taking a deep breath in and letting the hands fall to the right, coming into a very gentle twist. Jane was throwing toys at me apparently. There may be shenanigans soon, we'll find out. Inhaling the arms up, coming back to center, and exhale, twisting to the left. Trying to sit up nice and tall, taking those full deep breaths. This should feel very nice in the body. And inhaling the arms up and exhale, coming back to center. So from here, we're going to place both hands in front of us, and we're going to bring I'm trying to do this opposite to you, so we're going to bring the right arm out in front of us and sweep the arm up towards the sky. extending the arm out along the side. Letting that hand return to center and then bringing the left arm forward. It's like you're scooping maybe water up over you like a waterfall. And then once again with the right hand. And once again with the left hand. And you can look up towards the sky as you do this. Maybe you picture yourself raining water on you, maybe confetti, maybe sparkles. It's your practice, so you can make it as fun as you want, as fun or as calming. It could be flowers, clouds, anything you want. Chocolate. Following your breath as you move through this. One more time. And when you're ready, coming back to center. From here, we're going to just rest the hands on the knees, just very gently. And we're going to go through our cat-cow movement here, so from a seated position. So on the next inhale, arching the spine, shining the heart up towards the sky. And on your next exhale, rounding the spine, rounding the shoulders. Sighing it all out. And inhale. And flow back and forth, following your breath. When you're ready, just coming back to center. From here, we're going to inhale the arms up, taking a nice deep breath in, and exhale, letting the hands come towards the ground, coming into a forward fold, feeling a nice stretch in the hips. So don't worry if you're here, that's okay. Go to where the pose feels good in your body. So it's not about looking a certain way, it's about the journey in and out of the pose. Learning how to be more mindful in our lives through our practice. And learning to be more accepting of where we are through our practice. And when you're ready, walking the hands up. We're going to switch the feet here, so that we can stretch the opposite hip. So inhaling the arms up, taking a deep breath in, and exhale, letting the hands come down towards the ground. Feeling the stretch in a slightly different place now. slowly walking the hands back up. We're going to place the soles of the feet together, coming into our butterfly pose. So from here, we're going to take a deep breath in and exhale, taking a hold of the feet or the ankles, maybe giving yourself a nice foot massage here. So don't worry if your knees are not down on the mat. Mine certainly aren't. If you have blocks or pillows, you can always prop those up so it's a little more comfortable. Django is demonstrating resting pose, but I don't think you can see him. You might hear him snoring soon, so. It's a good reminder that we can come to resting pose, any pose that we like during our practice. So you can come to a seated pose, you can come into Shavasana for the whole practice if you choose. It's your practice, so you can do anything you want. And at this point I can't see you, so you can really do whatever you want. Remember to focus on your breathing, be mindful. And when you're ready, coming back to center, we're going to extend one leg out to the side. I should actually do the opposite leg so that I'm doing them. So you can do your right side. I'm getting it all backwards because I'm trying to mirror. So still trying to sit up nice and tall, and it might mean putting a pillow or a block behind you to help prop you up, and that's okay. You don't have to have a real yoga block, you can just use a little pillow if you've got one handy. So from here we're going to try and flex the feet and inhale the arms up, and exhale, letting that hand come down to the shin, the toes, wherever it falls. It's okay. It's okay if you're up like this. And try to keep the chest open towards the sky, coming into that nice side bend. Just to where you feel a nice stretch. A place where you can still breathe. No short, shallow breaths here. We're going to do a counter pose here, so letting that hand come down to the ground. We're going to lift the hips up towards the sky, bringing the hand up. Feeling a nice stretch along the side body. And when you're ready, gently releasing. And we're going to switch the feet. So bringing the right leg in and extending the left leg. Flexing the toes. Making sure you're sitting up nice and tall, shoulders down and away from the ears. Inhaling the arms up. And exhale, letting that right hand come down to the left hand come down towards the shin, the toes, and extending the opposite arm up towards the sky. Still trying to shine the heart up towards the sky. ready, placing that left hand down, right hand down on the ground, and shifting the hips up towards the sky. Extending the arm up towards the sky. Maybe looking at the hand if it feels okay in your neck. And when you're ready, gently releasing. So from here, we're going to, I'm just going to shift this way so that you can see me. We're going to come into a seated twist. So we're going to, let's extend both legs out long here. Flexing both feet. And we're going to place the left leg over the right knee. Trying to sit up nice and tall, shoulders down and away from the ears. So maybe giving the shoulders a bit of a roll just to make sure that they're not creeping up towards the ears. We're going to take a nice inhale in and exhale, twisting to the left, sitting up nice and tall, making sure that we're still taking those full deep breaths, and that might mean twisting a little bit less in the pose, and that's okay.
Okay.
You can always work your way deeper into the pose through your breathing, if that feels accessible to you. And inhaling the arms up, and exhale, twisting to the opposite side. I should really face the other way so I can see him. Well, that might encourage him. Let's inhale the arms up and come back to center, extending both feet out long here. Maybe giving the legs a bit of a shake here. Try to keep both feet flexed. We're going to cross the right leg over the left knee this time. And again, making sure that we're sitting up nice and tall. So let's roll the shoulders back, keeping them down and away from the ears. And we're going to inhale the arms up and exhale, twisting gently to the right. And again, you don't have to come very deep into this pose if that's where you are today. Making sure that you're still breathing, perhaps closing the eyes. And inhaling the arms up, and exhale, twisting to the opposite side this time. Inhale the arms up and exhaling the hands back down, extending the right leg back out long, maybe giving the legs a bit of a shake here. I'm going to turn back and face you again. So crossing the legs, we're going to inhale the arms up, Bringing the hands through heart center as we exhale. Extending the arms out wide. So crossing the right arm under the left, we're going to come into eagle arms. And if this doesn't feel good, if eagle is not accessible to you, you can give yourself a little hug from here, and you're still getting benefits from this. But if you want to come into the eagle arms pose, we can wrap the hands so that the palms are touching. So my shoulders are a little tight, so they're not quite touching all that. I'm not palm to palm here, and that's okay. And if this is still not doing anything for you, you can start to lift the elbows towards the sky, and that will intensify this stretch for you. But of course, we should still be breathing, and that might mean coming out of the pose a little bit. And if you're here, that's okay. Gently unwrapping the arms. Let's extend the arms out to the sides. Taking a nice inhale in, and this time crossing the left arm under the right. Maybe coming into that nice hug, placing the hands on the shoulders. Or if it feels good in your body, letting the hands touch. Coming into the eagle arms. Maybe lifting the shoulders up towards the sky if you need to intensify it. So I have one shoulder that's more sore and tight than the other, so I can't go as far into the pose on this side, and that's okay. So I'm not going to force it because I don't want to hurt myself. So go where you're at today, and that might mean just giving yourself that nice self-hug. You're still getting a benefit from this. Unraveling the arms, opening the arms out to the sides, getting a nice stretch across the front of the chest. And exhaling, and the hands come down. I'm going to turn this way. So from here, we're going to make our way onto our hands and our knees. And we're going to bring the knees out as far as the yoga mat, as wide as the yoga mat, letting the big toes touch, and then slowly starting to sit back towards the heels, coming to our extended child's pose. Spreading the fingers nice and wide. So this can be a nice calming pose to come into at any time. If you don't want to join the pose that we're doing, you can come into child's pose, you can come to a seated pose. Or maybe your resting pose is downward facing dog. So you can do anything you want. So from here, we're going to bring the knees together, keeping the hands, or the arms extended out long, and we're going to start to tuck the toes. So we're setting up for our first downward facing dog. So we're just going to move very slowly into this pose. So making sure that the fingers are spread nice and wide to protect the wrists. And starting to shift the hips up towards the sky. You may need to shift your feet around, but that's okay. Trying to press evenly through the hands and the feet. So we won't stay here long. We're going to lift that right leg up towards the sky just momentarily, and then bringing the knee in towards the chest, bringing that leg down. We're coming into our pigeon pose. So starting to sit back. Now your right leg, the leg might be parallel to the front of the yoga mat. Mine certainly isn't. And that doesn't matter where you're at. You'll still feel the benefits of this pose. So from here, you can stay up here if you wish, or you can come down to the elbows, or you can come right down, extending down to the ground if that feels accessible to you today. I'm going to stay right here. And you can always be a little more fluid in your poses if that feels better for you. You don't have to stay completely stationary all the time. Sometimes a bit of gentle movement in the pose helps us relax into it a little more. So if you have blocks or pillows, you can always use them to prop yourself up. I haven't done anything here. It would be very useful for me because I do have a lot of tightness in the hips. I can hear him snoring now. So from here, we're going to start to tuck the back toe under. And we're going to press back up to our downward facing dog. Just very momentarily. And if it feels good for you, you might want to lift that right leg back up towards the sky to get the blood moving if that feels good for you. So whenever you're ready, lifting the left leg up towards the sky, just momentarily, and then bringing that left knee into the chest, letting that leg come down. And once again, your leg might be parallel to the front of the mat. Mine certainly isn't. The back leg is extended out long behind us. And once again, you can come down to your elbows, or you can come right down into sleeping pigeon. I'm going to stay right here. Once again, maybe finding a little bit of movement, if that helps ease into the pose. Or maybe coming out of it slightly if that helps with your breathing. This time tucking the toes of the right foot. We're going to step back up to our downward facing dog from here. And maybe lifting that left leg up towards the sky if that helps. Maybe pedaling out the feet from here. And then coming down to the knees, coming into our child's pose. Maybe extending the knees back out to either side of the yoga mat. Locking the hands in, transitioning yourself to a seated position, just in your own time. And then from here, we're going to make our way down to our backs. So just slowly in your own time. Just making your way onto your back. We're going to bring both knees in towards the chest. And just rocking back and forth, giving yourself a nice little back massage here. And returning to center. We're going to let the left leg come down, keeping the knee bent. And we're going to extend that right leg up towards the sky, like we're stamping our foot on the ceiling. So you should be feeling a stretch in your hamstring. Your leg does not have to be completely straight here. Mine is not. I have very tight hamstrings. So don't lock the knee. You can take a hold of the back of the leg wherever you want. And you can certainly extend the left leg out long if you choose as well. Wherever you are, accept wherever you are. It's okay. Accept where you are in your practice. Accept where you are in your life. Finding that peaceful state within you. And when you're ready, bringing that leg down, letting it join the left leg on the mat. And then we're going to bring that left leg up towards the sky, extending it up towards the ceiling like we're stamping our foot on the ceiling. Keeping the foot flexed, feeling that stretch along the hamstring. And once again, you can have that right leg extended out long if that feels better for you. That noise is the dog snoring. Maybe you can't hear it over the music, but I can. And when you're ready, bringing that foot back down to the ground, letting the leg join the right. We're going to extend the legs out just a little, keeping the legs bent. And we're going to windshield wiper the legs from either side. So letting the knees drop to the right, bringing them back to center, letting the legs drop to the left, following your breath. So trying to keep the top portion of the body rooted to the yoga mat, just moving the legs here. So you can feel a nice stretch in the lower back. Maybe releasing the lower back if it's been feeling a little bit stiff. When you're ready, coming back to center, we're going to extend both legs out long, about the width of the yoga mat, flipping the palms up towards the sky, coming into our final resting pose. Try to keep the shoulders down and away from the ears here, making sure you're nice and comfortable. If you have a pillow or a sweater or something you want to drape over the eyes to filter out the light for your relaxation, your shavasana, feel free to do that. Letting the breath return to normal. Feeling yourself melt right into that yoga mat. Feeling more and more relaxed with each breath. Inhaling lots of love in with each breath. And exhaling all of which no longer serves you. Starting fresh with each breath. Loving yourself and being kind to yourself. Loving others and being kind to others. Sharing that inner peace that you found with the world around you. Finding that peaceful place within. To help make the world a more peaceful place, one person at a time. Finding that peaceful place, even for a moment, can help us feel so much more rested and rejuvenated and ready for the rest of our day. So even if we're busy, it can be really important to find that time. Even if it's only a few minutes, even if it's only a minute. Help us start fresh, rested, healthier and stronger, and ready for the rest of our day. When you feel ready, starting to Become aware of the room around you, bringing your awareness back. Maybe starting to wiggle fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, bringing gentle movement back to the body. And when you feel ready, slowly making your way over to your right side. Making your way very slowly up to a seated position, just in your own time. And of course, you can stay in resting pose if you need to and keep snoring away like Django. Always being in the moment. And we'll take one breath together to close our practice, inhaling the arms up, taking a deep breath in, and exhaling, bringing the hands through heart center. The light in me honors the light in all of you and every soul. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining the practice this week. I hope you feel rested, rejuvenated, peaceful, and ready to go on with the rest of your day. See you next week. Bye. And bye from the snoring dog.